Well, we're here today with Dale Wheatley. We're going to be interviewing Dale Wheatley of the Options Hunter, covering his trading strategy that uses MACD, divergence, and double tops and double bottoms on multiple time frames. So, welcome, Dale Wheatley. Whatever got you into trading options?
Well, I started trading, as you know,
Back in
back in
the
the 80s.
yeah,
So that's been what, 40 years now. I mean, I don't like to admit it, but it's been like 40 years.
yeah,
Uh,
same here.
I started trading options specifically because I wanted to know how I could leverage my money with limited risk and with limited capital. So I wanted to be able to take small amounts of money and turn them into large amounts of money. And I didn't have time to wait like Warren Buffett does, like, oh, I can make 15 to 20% a year and stuff like that. Well, I want to get the jump on things. I want to make not only 20 to 30% in a year. No, I want to make what I found out was I could make hundreds or thousands of percent in a day. Back in those days, it was just on the daily charts because we didn't have any real time. There's no such thing as real time charts. So I always wished I had it, but we didn't have it. So I had to use the daily charts, and then I would win some, I'd lose some. I couldn't understand why I could lose some. And then I said, I see this pattern. It's valid. Yeah, it's certainly valid, but not understanding what I do now, the underlying time frames. So you make a good profit and you sell it, and you make another good profit and you sell it. You make another one, and you do it consistently, and you do it reliably every single time. And so you don't have to trade individual stocks. Well, I hope my Walmart stock does better, and my Berkshire Hathaway does better, and my Nvidia stock, that was $1,000 and now it's 800, or 700 or 600 or 500. I hope it does better because I would really like to get my money back. I don't want to get my money back. I want to make a profit every single time.
Yeah, one of the questions is, do you use any of the Greeks for your options, like the delta and theta? Are you interested in any of those? Do they have any effect on
Nope.
your? Nope,
No,
nothing at
no,
all.
no interest at all. It may be of interest to some people, but I would say, why have interest in something that adds to the confusion? When you add ingredients into a bowl of soup, like you put a little more salt in there, say, oh, but this would taste a little bit better if it put a little salt. So you put a little bit of salt. Then after a while, you got to throw it out because it's not even edible. Well, that's the way it is when you try to add ingredients in that are not needed. So if like today, if the MACD divergence on the volatility was able to give me a return of 500%, what else would a person need?
Presumably that means since you buy just put some calls right out of the money, you don't use any strategies like butterfly, spread
Nope.
iron condors, or anything like that,
Nope.
right?
Never. Never. I don't even confuse my mind with that kind of stuff. See, it's adding ingredients in that are not needed.
Right, right.
People use straddles and spreads and all that kind of stuff in an attempt to eliminate risk. But my focus is making profit. So I don't have any interest in eliminating risk other than the fact that I see a divergence, a clear divergence on the volatility. And what does that lead me to in the markets? Or I could trade volatility itself, on expiration day. See, so what good would it do to add ingredients in? Would do
Ah,
no
yeah, yeah.
good.
No, it makes sense. It
Would do
makes
no
sense.
good at all. It actually would not only do no good, it would detract from my ability to make profit.
How important is discipline and risk management in your trading approach?
Very important. You know, one of the things that I've learned over the many years that I've traded, and that the kind of things I used to do, it didn't really have anything to do with that disciplined approach, as much as they do now. And now we have options that expire every day on the major indexes. So that's what I'm interested in. That's why I could trade short-term charts and make 500% in no time. You don't have to look at it for very long. I thought you wanted to make a profit. I tell people, say, well, yeah, I do want to make a profit. Well, how's 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000%? Is that good enough for you? Yeah. So, when I look at these things, I look at this kind of a thing right here, and I don't really pay any attention to my eyes are blindfolded. I only pay attention to the things that I need to see and want to see. And if I'm present and accounted for, that's the key. You have to be present and accounted for. Like I showed somebody the other day, I said, you left in the last hour, and that's when the trade took place. That's exactly perfect. We had
right. You got to be there.
You have to be there. Yeah, I can't be everywhere every time. So you trade the pattern, you're good to go. So you made 500% today. Like if you spend $300 a month for my class, and you invest $1,000 one time, and you made $5,000. How many classes that pay for? That's a couple of years right there, just on that simple little trade.
Got it. What tips can you share with listeners for developing a winning trader's mindset? How do they go about
that? You have first know that you're not going to be doing the things that you traditionally may be accustomed to doing, like looking at the news and stuff like that. You have to turn all the news off. I don't ever listen to any news. Never. These financial channels are just there to entertain people. I don't have any interest in that. Entertainment. I'm entertained when I make money. I don't want to hear your philosophy on, why this stock, who cares? Does it make me any money? Well, if the answer is not, does it make me more than 500%? Then I'm not interested, So all I can say is you have to stay focused, and you have to look for a pattern. And if it means you have to wait for a week or 2, 3 weeks, who cares? I don't care if I have to wait for 6 months until I see a pattern. I never have to wait that long, but I don't care if I do. Because if I make put $1,000 into one trade just one time, just like this, just as today, from 12 o'clock until 1:20, and I make 500%. So I turn my $1,000 into $5,000. Now, excuse me, could I take off for the next week or the next month or 2? And that's only $1,000 invested. Because if I really believed in the pattern and its capabilities, why not put $10,000 in there? The $10,000 would be, 50,000, just like that.
Sounds like you only usually trade one option at a time. So do you ever have more than one option position open at a time?
No, generally just one is all I need anymore. I tell the guys that they can trade the S&P and the Qs if they want to, or the Russell 2000 if they want to, all at once. But there's no reason to, because once you see the pattern and you say, oh, well, which index is it on? Oh, maybe it's on the Qs and maybe it's on the SPY at the same time, or in reverse like this is here. But maybe it's only on the Russell 2000. Well, trade the one that has the heaviest volume activity and the lowest bid-ask spread. So general rule, that's the S&P 500. So if you wanted to, you could wait. So I don't see the S&P 500. I'll put it up here. And say I just don't see the pattern that I want to see on the S&P 500 right now. Okay, say here's an hourly chart. See, like I don't know. See, so how long are you going to wait? So probably a while, because in order for these patterns to form on a higher time frame means that the price has to break down, and then it has to show an upside divergence at the same time that it breaks down. So I don't see that going on right here, except for right here it's kind of close, but so what? Close. It doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't have to be close. It has to be right on. It has to be
Understood. Gotcha.
exactly like I'm looking for. I don't want to care about anything being close. Like this is perfect. This is like almost a perfect double bottom on the Qs. I don't care how it gets there. Point is, it got there. So the price on the 19th was this, and had a strong, clear upside divergence. See, and it lasted till the 21st. It's an hourly chart. It's not a 10-minute chart,
right.
5-minute chart. You see what I'm saying? So it's a higher time frame with more validity to it and more staying power.
Got it. So, question for you, Dale. So, how do you start? What's your trading process during the day? Get up, have coffee in the morning, breakfast. Do you then sit down at your? Because I can see you've got trading screens in the background there. Do you use multiple screens? You lock yourself away in your room? What is your process?
No, I don't anymore like I used to do. I just study every single thing, but you don't need to, because I'm only interested in the things that have the heaviest volume activity with the lowest bid-ask spreads, and that will narrow the field way down. In fact, it narrows it down so much that I've decided that I will only trade the SPY, the QQQ, and the Russell 2000. And the Russell 2000 only expires every other day instead of every day. But today, like it expired yesterday, and then again today, because Good Friday. So
you come in at the open of the market and check out those three markets and the VXX each day, right?
So I look at the VXX, and as most people try to figure them out, I don't try to figure out anything. I don't get headaches like I used to, and I don't do any thinking. See, it either has the pattern I'm looking for or it doesn't, and if it doesn't have it tomorrow or the next day, who cares? If I made 1,000% today or even 500% today, can I slide by for a couple days without trading? So I don't have to see a pattern. I can't, even if I wanted to, I can't make a pattern up. What do you want me to do? I'm just another guy in the millions of people that trade. I have no control at all over the markets.
So what time frame do you start with in the morning? Is it your hourly rather than the daily?
If I'm looking at, say, for instance, like looking at the Qs here, I say I start with an hourly chart, or I could start with a daily chart. I don't see anything of significance. Maybe a little downside pattern there, but I don't really see anything that's a value. See, this was a value to me on the day that it happened. Well, that was on the 19th. That's 9 days ago. Since then, on that same hourly chart, I see nothing. So that's 9 days of nothing. Okay, on the hourly chart. So it doesn't mean that I don't have an opportunity, but I don't see any opportunity on the hourly chart, none on a 30-minute chart, none on the 15-minute chart. If I really want to scrutinize something, like I could say, well, this kind of has a pattern, a little bit of weakness, and then the next day had about the double or triple top. So you're really kind of having to look at it with an electron microscope or with your magnifying glass to see things. See, so zoom out on it like this and say, well, is that something that I want to get involved with? Probably not, because I have to work too hard for it.
Right, right.
See, I don't want to work for it. That's the thing about investing is you eliminate work. And in spite of what everybody else tries to do, they try to work. Well, what are you working for? I mean, what do you want to do? What's your objective? Do you want to make money, or do you just want to trade? I don't
Right.
understand.
Are you just trading just for the fun of it, or
Yeah, that's right. That's what
money?
I often wonder with people. They trade because they say they lose money. Well, why would you lose money when you don't have to ever lose money? Never 1 cent. Because if you look for this kind of a pattern on the volatility and you see the reverse of that on the indexes, well, you have exactly the ingredients that you need every single time. I figure 500%, like on this trade today, and then you wait for another one that's like that, and then the next one could be 1,000, 1,500, who knows, 2,000, 3,000, but minimum 500%. But 500% times 500%. That's what you have to think about. You could take $1,000 and invest it today and made $5,000, and then take 2,000 of the 5,000 you made. So now you got 3,000 to the good, even if you lost every cent, which is not going to happen. I promise you, it will not happen. So you put 2,000 into the next trade, and that's $10,000, not 5,000, right?
Right.
But if you really believed in the patterns, what's not to believe? It's the same pattern over and over. So 500% times 500% is let's see,
that's a big number.
And that's only 2 trades of a very minimal amount. That it comes nowhere near what I'm talking about, in the scheme of things. Because like the other day, it was 125 times your money in 1 trade.
Is there a minimum volume level on those out of the money options you're looking for? Is it 10,000 contracts a day?
10,000 contracts. Yeah. But see, that's what I like about the major index is that, like the S&P 500 or whatever it is, traditionally on a typical trading day, it trades 6 million contracts. A typical day. Put a minimum of $1,000 in there because you can turn it into some real money. And you talk about $5,000 here,
right? And it's under 10 cents a contract. So
that's right.
Right. I think that's an important point about your trading strategy is that you put $1,000 in, and if you make a mistake while you're trading and you realize it's not a good pattern and you lose that $1,000, that's $1,000. But if you bought the SPY, the equivalent amount of contracts you were controlling, you'd probably need $70,000 to $80,000.
But the thing about it is that I always tell people you have to start with something.
Yeah,
you start with $1,000 and you invest it, and you take, like today, let's just say just a minimal trade. You turn the $1,000 into $5,000, and you saw it just like that. Bam, just like that. You're $5,000. So if the next time you trade, you trade 3,000 of the 5,000. Okay, well, you got 2,000 to the good, even if you lost every cent. What if you made, like the other day, it was just as easy to make actually easier to make 125 times your money than it is to make 5 times your money. Why? Because the patterns are more valid. They scream at you. They don't just whisper to you. Say, oh, this is a pretty good. No. They scream and stammer and they jump up and down. And they say, buy me now. And that is 125 times your money. So if you'd taken that same $1,000 and invested in that one, then your outcome would be $125,000. Then could you invest $10,000 next time?
Yeah, you bet you could.
Yeah, you bet. You absolutely could. And you still have 115,000 to the good if you lost every single cent. which is almost impossible.
Tell me, Dale, about when you go and select an option, do you use the trade window in Thinkorswim here to go and look at the options?
Yeah. Put the order in for the SPY, or today was the IWM. Yeah.
And then you go and find the out of the money option that is the most appropriate, right?
And I would just put an order in for the thing that's under 10 cents. You'll see the options listed categorically, the in order. QQQ, you start with a 444 or something like that. And then if you're looking at call options, just say 445, 446, 447. And then depending on how much time you have until the end of the day and how powerful the pattern is underlying it, that's what you would buy.
Right. That gives you the target, because if for example, it's close to the end of the day, you're going to buy something that's out of the money, but not too far out of the money. Otherwise, it will never gain anything, right?
Yeah, you see, like, for instance, this isn't by a long shot what I would consider a good trade, but it is a divergence. You see it? You see this 5-minute chart?
I can see it.
See, the price is exactly the same bottom, is it not?
Yep.
Yes. Is this advanced? Yes. Is it above the signal line? Yes. Let's see. What time is it now? It's nearly 3 o'clock. There's 1 hour until expiration. So how much time value could there be in the options? Not much.
You're right.
See, 24 and coming into the end of the quarter here, and 445.
445 maybe, yeah.
And that's not quite cheap enough, see? But I say not quite cheap enough, but it's not quite cheap enough for me, but it's tripled in value. You see that? Just like that.
Example. Yeah.
Just like that. And that's 2 trades today, and I'm just nickel diming it. Just like that.
Yeah, and that's only a very modest,
very
pattern, right?
It's a good pattern, but
what about the 446s? What do they look like?
Well, you can be sure they moved up more.
4 cents.
So 4 cents, and so that would be the ones that I would consider. I don't do what most people do. I don't think through things. There's no thinking. I've told people that over and over and over until I'm blue in the face. I can't stand it anymore. You just don't do any thinking. Like right now, like in that 5-minute chart, you see the pattern, and there's no time to think through it. What are you going to think about?
You got to pull the trigger and go, right?
You got to just go, and just like that. What, you don't like 4 times your money? Excuse me? On top of the 5 times your money you made earlier. That's 20 times your money.
On an option that's expiring, in an hour, obviously you're going to exit it from it, even if you have no signal that says it's turning down. You're going to exit right before the end of the day. Is that the plan?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
If I have no, see here's the, I'm going to go all the way down to the 1-minute chart.
Right. See what it's doing.
Yeah. And then I'm going to see what the strength is in 1 minute, and it still looks good. See?
Still going up. Yeah.
I don't see any sign of it dissipating, even though the price is backed off a little bit. So, I'm going to give it a chance, and who cares? If I decide to sell it right now while it's hawing around, well, I don't pay for time value, a loss of premium, and for it haw around. And these options expire, like you said.
You've got an hour left.
I've got an hour, so it can't haw around. And it might move up, it might move down. Who cares if it might? There's a lot of things it might do. So, but the technical pattern says it's still strong, and as long as the price is strong, then I'm going to stay with it. And see, just like now, see.
Yep, still hanging in there. Yeah, it's going up. That's a great example.
Sure is.
Yeah.
And that's all. And that's going to be 5 times your money in a second. Then 6 times, 8 times, 20, 10 times, just like that.
You could exit now without even worrying.
That's right.
You've made some money.
But see, there's no reason to exit as long as this is strengthening.
Got it.
Yeah. But I'm not using the 1 minute to trade. Am I?
No,
Just
no,
using
because
it to
you're on a higher
confirm
time
them.
frame from that, right?
The 5-minute chart was the confirmation right
Yep.
here.
And off it went. Yep.
How many of these trades do you want in a week? Or but good grief, I mean, I can't even tell you how many there. That's why I take a break and go off in oblivion somewhere because I got time, I got money. Because
Well, you go and travel, right? So you travel quite a bit. Where do
yep,
you
I
like to
sure
travel
do.
to?
I'll travel a lot more. If
So where
people
are you traveling to next?
Amsterdam, no, San Francisco. Going to San Francisco for 4 or 5 days on this coming week, and then going to Amsterdam, and then be there for a week,
Norway.
and then Norway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's what you can do when you make money, right?
But you see, like this here, it's a classic.
Yeah, it's still
I,
popping up. Look at
I
that thing
can't
go.
tell you how classic it is.
Yeah, it's a good example. It really
Yeah,
is.
it really is because it's near expiration in an hour,
Yeah.
and it had the strength. But see, now it doesn't. See that hook? That
Yeah,
means
yeah.
something's going on. So get rid of it.
Get rid
Just
of it.
like that.
You're
It
out of
doesn't
it.
matter that you sold it and you only made 500%. Who cares? It's just it's the last trade you're going to see the rest of your life. No, probably see another one tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and or maybe you won't see one for a week. I don't know. I don't know when. I don't know what. See, I know what to look for in the pattern. So I'm looking for 10 minutes. Oh, I don't see anything here. Do you see anything there? I don't see the kind of pattern I'm looking for on the 10-minute. See, but whoa, yeah, well, stop everything. I do see what I want to see here, and it's close to expiration. I can trade. Bam.
Yeah,
And I don't have to
went.
hold it until the end of the day. I can just hold it until the technical pattern starts to drift. And when it starts to drift, the time value premium keeps eroding away, and I'm out of there.
Dale, thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon.